VW Passat 2006 TDI 1.9 EGR valve change. Clips here, I've actually removed this already, so some of this is loose. A clip here that you pull back and that remove that. I've done this for speed really of video. Here we've got on this end there's that similar clip there, you'll see there, and you just pop it out with a screwdriver. Okay, I've got another customer turned up in a second. Then all I've done so far is use one screwdriver and one Allen key. So it's a 5mm Allen key there, so we just remove one and the last one there. Yeah. That's my Allen key drop down. I'll get it in a minute. Okay. So take that off. Leave it wired up. So hopefully we don't need to do any fooling around later. So I've popped a mirror down so that you can just see now up underneath the EGR valve. So you can see the two bolts that you're going to have to remove. That one there and next to it there. So two bolts that you have to undo from underneath, 6mm. But I'm going to also remove here with a Torx key. I'm going to remove this the bolts here, okay, which will get rid of this air pipe, and also down in there we'll just get this one here, which is below the EGR valve. I've started to undo it there, okay, and that's just below the EGR. We'll get rid of that, and then we can get better access to those 6mm Allen keys. I've removed that air intake pipe, the plastic one, and I've got myself an Allen key on one of those bottom bolts. I'll try and get a little closer in there so you can see what's going on. So Allen key on there. I'll undo that, and then the opposite side there's your other bolt there, just right in your face. Two 6mm Allen keys off, and I'll just remove them. There we go, there's one. That's the beauty. Okay, two of them. 1, 2, coming up. We've just got two more 5mm Allen keys to undo. Just a normal Allen key here. You don't need anything particularly special, any fancy tools. A little trick here, use a spanner just to pop onto here and give you that. And then there's another one down the back here, which you'll see quite easily, but I can't get my camera around there. Find the little fellow, the little friend, and then with your spanner, there we go, click, it's off. Right, those two out. Remove this rubber pipe from the top here, just pop that there. Lovely. I put this in the way here, this plastic bit, just to hold that intake pipe out of the way for me. Right, 2 seconds. Last screw coming out here. So we just pull that out of the way. That's that. Just a wire holder bracket. Pop that to one side. Put the screw there, and then this should just lift off, gently lift off. There we are. And there is your beauty. Sorry, there is your beauty of an EGR valve. This one, actually, the diaphragm up in here, the vacuum diaphragm has blown. So no matter how much you suck on there, it's not going to lift this this unit. So that was where your 2 bolts came up through, your 2 6mm, then your 5mm here and here. Right, just make sure your surfaces are clean. This new gasket goes on. Make sure you got it in the right position, otherwise you're in trouble. There's your EGR valve, and we want to get a bolt up through here. So pop that on there and just gently start that off. If a bolt doesn't want to go into aluminium with your fingers, don't use a spanner. You've evidently got it slightly wrongly threaded, so go back and clean it and try again. Once you start messing up alley threads, you're on a losing streak. Okay, now the next one underneath there, another 6mm Allen key up through the bottom.
Trying to envisage
going to stick a second 6mm Allen key up through the bottom there.
Will you vote down the if the withdrawal
bit of luck goes in there nicely? Yeah, that's it.
Understand it from all the word that's come out from government. Would you vote that down?
No, I hope very much that I wouldn't have to do that. I think the point is that no deal is ever going to be perfect.
So we got that 6mm, 2 6mm bolts down underneath here, coming up through the bottom. Now we've got our 5mm. There's that cable bracket holding the cable, which is also going to hold our EGR valve on. So just put the Allen key through there. I've left the 6mm bolts underneath loose. They're just nipped them up to hold the pipe the pipe at the bottom there with the 6mm, but just finger tight, so this can all move around. So until I've actually got it mounted, I don't want to tighten anything up until I know everything's roughly in place. Otherwise we'll put added pressure on bits that don't really need it. So do this one and then the other bottom one just on the other side there. You may find here that actually removing that 6mm that comes up through the bottom on this side here will make it easier for you to insert the 5mm bolt straight through that holds your EGR valve onto the manifold. Now you've got 2 bolts now, the 2 5mm that are holding the EGR valve onto the manifold. There is a rubber seal that will give a bit, but what you want to do is be very careful that you pull these up together, okay, nice and evenly. The top one here only goes on after you've fitted the rest of the when you fitted the throttle body on there. So ideally you bring all 3 up a little bit at a time, but you can't do that in this case. You're going to have to tighten that up gently but firmly and fairly. Just those 2 outer ones. And then, as we did before, so these 5mm, we use our little trick with the combi spanner and just nip that up. It doesn't have to be too tight, but you know, you just want to make it firm. That one and this one, and that will make sure that that body is nice and firmly in place. He says. There we go. Right, all lovely. The tube can go back on there now. Okay, and then just tighten up those, get this 6mm that I removed earlier, 6mm underneath here. I don't know, can you see that now? That's where it goes. We had it in place before, we removed it, but it was nipped up tight, so that or not tight, it was nipped up finger tight, so that gasket there, that aluminium gasket, steel gasket, is going to be still in position, so the screw goes straight back up there, really nice and easy. So all there, and I'm just going to nip those up then with this Allen key. Now, you could use your expensive toolkit, but it's surprising how just an old-fashioned Allen key will do exactly what you want, and sometimes is a lot less bulky and easier to use on some jobs. Remove my little wedge to allow this air intake back in. We've tightened those 6 mils underneath, coming up through the pipe, coming up to the bottom of the EGR valve. We've done the 2 outside 5 mils. I'm now going to put this screw in down there, which is holding the pipe. I'll do that one, and at the same time do the one on the top there. Screw that down, and then use my sexy and very colourful Teng Tools ratchet, Torx key, Torx 30, T30 torque on that. This just nip this up. Doesn't need a whole lot of pressure, but that's lovely. Okay, and now the throttle body can go back on. I didn't take the wires off because, I mean, although I'm going to get this then all the fault codes cleared on it in a minute, one still needs to, yeah, the less you detach the better. This one here goes all the way through and is your third bolt holding the EGR valve onto the manifold, but once you put this on, you can't get to that bottom 5 mil EGR valve bolt, so you have to have done that one up tight beforehand. And then we've just got one under here, as we saw before, and one on the edge there, which I'm going to find in a second, and we'll tighten those up. Other 5 mil goes in there. Just whiz that up, wing it up. As I say, if it doesn't want to go up finger tight, don't start putting a spanner on it until you've got it at least 3 or 4 turns in, or a couple of turns in, because once you start with aluminium and start chewing up the threads, it's very difficult to go back from that point. And if it won't just go up easily, there's something wrong, so don't ignore it. Right, tighten those up and then nip them up, and we'll stick the pipe back on. And that pipe, let's try and get some focus on this. Oh well, wrong way. Never mind, we'll get there. So, here's your pipe. There's usually a lot of oil about here. I mean, it just tends to be. I think even if it was a brand new motor, it was still a bit of oil in there. So, we've pulled this clip back. Okay, so down there you'll see it's not sitting proud. It will do, and it'll be you'll hear it clicking in once it's there. Right, this, push it nice and firmly in there, get it right into place. Pop that back. Okay, it'll have collected those clips there. It'll have sat in position. It's sitting nice and flush there. And then down here on this end, I'll try and do that. Likewise, pop it in. Pop it in. You can see it's not there because actually that clip is still sitting proud. Sometimes they will just pop in. There we go, it does just pop in. So there we go, all sitting nicely. That's it, we're done. I'm going to fire it up now, and if those codes don't clear themselves, which I don't think they will, I will clear them myself.